Hey everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, where we make learning English simple, fun, and effective. I'm your host, Nancy, and today we're tackling a challenge that many of you might be facing. How do you practice English without a partner? Whether you're just starting out or working on your fluency, this episode is for you. A lot of learners feel like they can't make progress without someone to practice with. But let me tell you something. You don't need a partner to get better at English. In fact, practicing solo can actually be incredibly beneficial. Imagine being able to practice English anytime, anywhere, with no one else needed. When you practice on your own, you have full control over what you work on, whether it's grammar, pronunciation, or vocabulary. Plus, you don't have to worry about making mistakes in front of someone else. This gives you the freedom to make mistakes, learn from them, and build your confidence. And let's not forget, consistent solo practice also helps you develop discipline and perseverance qualities that will not only help with English, but in other areas of your life as well. Technology has your back too. There are so many apps, podcasts, and videos available now to help you practice effectively without needing a partner. You can practice anytime and anywhere, whether you're at home or on the go. In today's episode, we're going to break down some easy and practical ways you can practice English on your own and actually see improvement. By the end of this episode, you'll feel confident and motivated to continue your learning journey, even if you're flying solo. All right, let's dive right in. First, let's talk about why practicing English alone is not only possible, but it can actually help you improve even faster than relying on a partner.
That's right, Nancy. Many people think that to get better at speaking, they need someone to practice with. But practicing alone gives you complete control over your learning. You can decide what areas you need to focus on, whether it's grammar, pronunciation, or vocabulary. And here's the best part. You don't have to wait for anyone else.
Exactly. When you're practicing by yourself, you don't have to worry about matching someone else's schedule or feeling rushed. You can take all the time you need to really work on the areas that matter most to you.
And it's not just about the flexibility of time. It's also about the quality of focus. For example, if you're struggling with a specific aspect of grammar, you can dedicate a whole session to it, repeating things over and over until you feel confident. And you know what? You won't feel any pressure.
Right. So you get to control the pace of your learning. You can take your time without feeling embarrassed about making mistakes. We all know that making mistakes is part of the learning process. But when you're learning alone, you have the freedom to make those mistakes without anyone judging you.
Exactly. And think about it. The more you practice, the more you learn. So even if it's just 15 minutes a day, those small consistent efforts really add up over time. Practicing alone can help you develop discipline and self-motivation, which are incredibly important in any learning journey.
Absolutely. And you're also building confidence because when you practice on your own, you get comfortable speaking English without needing someone else there. You can start speaking more naturally without hesitating or second-guessing yourself. That's a huge win, right?
Right, so practicing alone helps you feel more comfortable in your own skin. It also helps you develop independence as a learner. You don't have to rely on someone else to keep you on track, and over time, that builds a lot of confidence and self-reliance.
And let's not forget the self-discipline part of it. Learning a language requires consistency, and when you're practicing solo, you're the one setting the schedule, creating your routine, and sticking to it. Those little daily habits go a long way in helping you achieve fluency.
Totally. And I think this self-discipline extends beyond just learning English. It's a life skill if you can stay motivated and stick to your routine. Whether it's 10 or 30 minutes a day, you'll develop a mindset that helps you tackle challenges in other areas of your life too.
Exactly. So practicing alone isn't just about improving your language skills. It's also about building habits that will help you succeed in everything you do.
And that brings us to another point, resources. There are so many resources out there now to help you practice alone. You don't have to feel isolated in your learning journey.
Right. We're living in a time where technology can be your best friend, When learning a language, apps, podcasts, YouTube videos, and even language learning platforms give you access to endless material. You can literally practice anywhere and anytime, and it feels like you're never truly alone.
Exactly. You can practice listening to native speakers repeating phrases, watching videos, and even using apps like Duolingo, Babbel, or Enki to improve your vocabulary and pronunciation. And the best part is, these tools are available to you all the time. You can customize your learning experience to fit your schedule and your goals.
Right, Brian. With all these resources, you're never stuck. You can mix and match learning methods, and you can find what works best for you. It's all about creating a routine that suits your needs. Go.
Exactly. So whether you have just 10 minutes to spare or a whole hour, there's always a way to fit in some practice. And when you're learning alone, you're also more likely to be consistent. You're not waiting around for someone else to practice with you.
And that's the beauty of practicing alone. You're in control. You can decide how much time you want to spend, which areas to focus on, and how to approach learning. And consistency, as we know, is key to mastering any language. Now let's clear up some of the biggest myths about practicing English alone. A lot of people think that it's impossible to improve without a partner. But that's just not true. Let's break it down.
Exactly one of the most common myths I hear is you can't improve your speaking skills without a partner. People think that if they're not speaking to someone else, their speaking skills will never get better, but that's simply not the case.
That's right, Brian. There are plenty of ways to improve your speaking skills on your own. For example, one of the best techniques is shadowing. This involves listening to a native speaker, like in a podcast or YouTube video, and then repeating what they say. You try to match their pronunciation tone and rhythm. It's almost like having a conversation with them, but you're practicing solo.
Exactly. And it's not just about pronunciation. Shadowing helps you learn natural sentence structures and common expressions. When you mimic the speaker, you start sounding more natural and fluent in your speaking.
And another thing, if you're not able to practice with someone to correct your mistakes, don't worry. You can still catch and fix your errors. There are tons of tools out there, like Grammarly for writing, or Google Translate for speaking, that help you identify mistakes in real time. You can use them to check your pronunciation or grammar as you practice.
Right and self-correction is a skill you can develop too. The more you listen to yourself and compare it to native speakers, the better you get at noticing where you can improve. Over time, you'll be able to identify and fix mistakes on your own.
Exactly. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's part of the process. And when you're learning alone, you have the freedom to self-correct without any pressure.
Another myth I hear a lot is that practicing alone is boring or monotonous. People think it's just sitting in front of a book all day or doing the same thing over and over again.
That couldn't be further from the truth. There are so many fun and creative ways to make learning exciting. For example, you can watch your favorite TV shows or movies in English, you can sing along to English songs, or you can use language apps that turn learning into a game. Learning doesn't have to be boring. In fact, you can make it as fun as you want.
Exactly. You can find ways to mix things up. Listen to podcasts, watch videos, use flashcards, or even create your own language challenges. The key is to keep things fresh so that you're always looking forward to your next practice session.
Right. And don't forget about the myth that you need to spend hours every day to see results. A lot of learners get discouraged because they think they have to dedicate huge amounts of time to see any improvement. But the truth is, consistency is what matters most.
Exactly. Even if you just practice for 15 minutes a day, you'll see progress. It's all about making language practice a daily habit. Short, consistent practice sessions are far more effective than cramming for hours once a week.
So to wrap up, don't let these myths hold you back. Practicing alone is not only possible, but also highly effective if you approach it with the right mindset and the right tools.
That's right. Now that we've busted some of the most common myths, we'll dive into some practical tips for how you can start practicing English on your own. Stay tuned because we've got a lot of great ideas coming your way.
All right, Brian, let's talk about something that is key to making progress building a consistent routine. A lot of learners struggle with this, but I think it's one of the most important aspects of learning English effectively, don't you?
Absolutely, Nancy. Having a routine really helps. Bring structure to your practice. It doesn't need to be complicated. You don't have to set aside hours every day. The key is consistency. Even just 30 minutes a day can make a huge difference if you stick to it.
Exactly. A consistent routine gives you the opportunity to break down your learning into manageable chunks so you don't feel overwhelmed. If you're someone who's busy or just doesn't have a ton of time, you can still make significant progress with small, focused sessions.
That's right, Nancy. For example, in just 30 minutes, you can spend 10 minutes listening, 10 minutes speaking, and 10 minutes reviewing vocabulary or grammar. That's a really balanced approach, and it ensures you're touching on all the core skills: listening, speaking, and understanding the language.
Yes, and don't forget that you can adjust the routine based on your own needs. Maybe one day you'll feel like you need to work more on speaking, or other days you might want to focus on grammar or vocabulary. The flexibility is key, but the most important thing is making it a habit.
And another great way to make your practice more engaging is by focusing on themes. For example, you can choose to practice English around specific themes like food travel or hobbies. This gives your learning more direction and makes it feel less random or boring.
Exactly. For example, on Monday, you might focus on food. You can watch videos, learn food-related vocabulary practice, speaking about your favorite dishes, or even try cooking while practicing English. Then on Tuesday, you could switch to travel, learning vocabulary for places, directions, and transportation. It's fun, and it's also very effective because you're immersing yourself in a specific context.
Yeah, using theme also makes your practice more purposeful. You get to tie your learning to real-life situations, and that makes it more interesting. Plus, it helps you remember things better when you can relate them to a specific context.
Now let's talk about something that's often a big challenge for language learners staying motivated. It can be tough to keep going, especially when you don't have a partner to practice with. So how do we stay on track?
Motivation is definitely one. It's one of the biggest hurdles, but the key to staying motivated is setting clear, achievable goals. These goals don't have to be huge. They should be small, measurable steps that you can easily achieve. For example, aim to learn 5 new words a day, or decide that you'll practice speaking for 15 minutes daily.
Exactly. And those small wins add up over time. It's about progress, not perfection. If you achieve your small goals consistently, it'll keep you motivated and moving forward. Also, don't forget to celebrate every milestone, no matter how small it is.
Right, even if it's something as small as understanding a full sentence in a TV show in English, or managing to have a short conversation with a friend, celebrate it. Those little moments of success are what keeps you going, especially on days when you feel discouraged.
And here's the thing, your mindset plays a huge role in staying motivated. Instead of thinking, I'm bad at this, try to remind yourself that you're getting better every day. Progress might feel slow sometimes, but remember that every practice session, even if it's just 10 minutes, gets you one step closer to fluency.
Exactly. And when you catch yourself thinking negatively, reframe it. If you made a mistake, don't say, I'm bad at this. Instead, say, I'm learning from this mistake. This shift in mindset will help you stay positive and motivated even when things aren't perfect.
Yes, that's such an important shift to make. Another great tip for staying motivated is to track your progress. Using a journal or an app to keep track of what you learn each day can really help you see just how far you've come. You'd be amazed at how much you improve when you see your progress in front of you.
Exactly. And tracking your progress doesn't just mean writing down what you've learned. It can also mean reflecting on your practice. what went well, what didn't, and what you can improve on next time. This reflection helps you stay on top of your goals and keeps you focused on the next steps.
And seeing those improvements will boost your motivation even more. It's like a little reward for all your hard work. So whether you use a journal, an app, or a simple calendar, tracking your progress will help you stay on track and celebrate your achievements. So Brian, what's the takeaway for our listeners? How can they succeed in learning English without a partner?
Well, Nancy, the biggest thing is to remember that learning English doesn't require a partner. You don't need someone else to improve. With the right mindset, a solid routine, and the motivation to keep going, you can make incredible progress on your own.
Absolutely. It's all about being consistent, creative, and using the right tools. You are in control of your own learning journey, and by staying disciplined, practicing regularly, and reflecting on your progress, you'll get closer and closer to fluency every day.
And don't forget, you don't have to make this process boring or overwhelming. Use themes, gamify your practice, and find ways to make learning fun. If you mix things up and stay motivated, you'll enjoy the process much more.
Exactly. Learning English is a journey, and just because you're doing it on your own doesn't mean you have to do it alone. You've got a whole community of learners out there, including us, rooting for you.
So what are you waiting for? Set a goal. Use the tips we shared and start practicing today. Whether it's 10 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, just get started. And remember, every little step you take counts.
And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends who might benefit from these tips. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and remember, you've got this.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, happy learning and keep making progress. Start today, set a goal, keep practicing, and stay consistent. Remember that fluency is within your reach solo. See you in the next episode.